We never wanted fans to know this story, because what really happened behind the scenes wasn't scripted, wasn't planned, and definitely wasn't meant to be seen. One decision made backstage changed Roman Reigns' career forever, and by the end of this video, you'll understand why WWE quietly tried to erase him from history. In WWE, victories are celebrated in front of millions, but failures, betrayals, and mistakes, those are buried behind closed doors. Tonight's story is not about what happened in the ring. It's about what happened after the cameras stopped rolling. Roman Reigns was once the centerpiece of WWE. He was the chosen one, the guy they built the entire company around. The crowd reactions, whether cheers or boos, were always the loudest. The merchandise sales were off the charts. The spotlight was always on him. He was positioned as the future, the next John Cena, the face of a generation. Week after week, he dominated television, main eventing pay-per-views, and conquering legends. He was on talk shows, movie posters, and every piece of promotional material. But success in WWE comes with a price not everyone is willing to pay. Control, promotional material. But success in WWE comes with a price not everyone is willing to pay. Control, And for a while, it seemed like Roman Reigns was playing the game perfectly. He was the company man, the reliable headliner. The empire was being built, and he was its king. But behind the curtain, the foundation of that empire was starting to crack. The very qualities that made him a star, his confidence, his conviction, his powerful presence, were about to become his biggest problem. Not everyone backstage was happy with the undisputed reign of the Roman Empire. Creative disagreements began to grow. Whispers in the locker room turned into arguments in production meetings. Roman, now a seasoned veteran, had his own vision for his character and his stories. He wanted more depth, more control over his narrative, but that clashed with the long-term plans laid out by management. They had a specific path for him, and any deviation was seen as a challenge to their authority. The more he pushed back, the more friction it created. Suddenly, the same superstar praised on television became a problem behind the scenes. The man they built up was now seen as difficult, uncooperative. The tension was no longer just about a storyline. It became a power struggle between the star and the machine that created him. That's when everything started to change. The conversations became colder, the meetings shorter, and the smiles on camera hid a growing animosity that was about to boil over. It all happened after a major WWE event. The match ended. The crowd went home buzzing about the epic main event they had just witnessed. But the real main event was just beginning. Backstage, in the gorilla position just behind the curtain, tempers flared. A heated exchange between Roman and a high-level executive escalated quickly. Voices were raised, fingers were pointed. It was no longer a creative disagreement. It was a personal confrontation. The argument spilled out into the hallways, attracting the attention of other superstars and crew members. The professional facade of sports entertainment shattered in an instant. Security was called, not to handle a scripted brawl, but to separate a top star from a powerful figure within the company. By the end of the night, as the arena crews packed up the last of the equipment, we executives knew one thing: this situation was out of control. A line had been crossed and there was no going back. The fallout would be swift, silent, and devastating. There was no public announcement, no press release, no article on the company's website explaining a sudden change in direction. Instead, the punishment was silent. It was a cold war fought not in the ring, but on the run sheets and call sheets. Roman's presence on television began to shrink. Fewer matches, less screen time. Key storylines that were building for months suddenly disappeared overnight, with no explanation given to the audience. He went from being the focus of every show to a supporting player, then to an occasional appearance. Fans noticed immediately. The online forums and social media platforms were flooded with questions. Where's Roman? Why was his match cut? What happened to his championship chase? But WWE never explained why. They just moved on, pretending the shift was a natural part of their storytelling. It was a masterclass in corporate gaslighting. They were sending a clear message, not just to Roman, but to the entire locker room. No one is bigger than the brand. The silent punishment then evolved into a full-blown erasure. The company's media machine, which had worked so hard to build his legacy, now worked tirelessly to dismantle it. Highlights of his biggest matches stopped airing on television. The epic moments and championship wins that once defined an era were suddenly absent from video packages. Promotional videos for upcoming events and network specials were quietly re-edited to remove his image. Announcers who once sang his praises were now instructed to drop his name from commentary unless absolutely necessary. It was as if Roman Reigns, the man who had main evented multiple WrestleManias, never existed. He wasn't fired, he wasn't suspended, he was just erased. It was a chillingly effective strategy. By removing him from the present and the past, they were attempting to control the narrative forever, making fans question if he was ever as important as they remembered. The message was clear. In WWE, your legacy is not your own. It's a privilege, and it can be revoked at any time. Today, fans still ask, what really happened to Roman Reigns during that time? The full unfiltered truth may never be publicly confirmed. Some insiders say it was pure ego, that Roman's success made him believe he was untouchable and could defy the very people who sign his checks. Others blame a rigid and unforgiving management structure, one that demands absolute loyalty and punishes any form of dissent, no matter how successful the superstar. But the truth likely lies somewhere in the complex and murky territory in between. It was a clash of a powerful personality with an even more powerful corporation. What his story truly demonstrates is a cold, hard lesson about the reality of the business. In WWE, talent is optional. Charisma helps, but obedience is not. You can be the biggest star in the world, but if you step out of line, the machine that built you will have no problem tearing you down and pretending you were never there. What makes this story even darker is that this wasn't the last time WWE did this. Another superstar, a fan favorite who seemed destined for greatness, would soon face the same fate. And that story is even more shocking. Thanks for watching, and if you want to know who is next, make sure you're subscribed for our next video.